Welcome to Mastery Podcast, where stories unlock the secret of an empowered and abundant life. I am your host, Dr. Saz. Today we have with us Angela Burgess. Angela empowers nonprofit to transform the world. She is the president and CEO of Broad Oaks Consulting. Angela left successful corporate career to pursue her passion for nonprofit work after discovering the impact her skills could have on helping others in need. Now, Angela, welcome to Mastery Podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
I'm excited that you're here too. Awesome. Well, let me ask you this question, Angela. It seems that many people feel like no matter what they do, they can't make the difference. How do you make every day matter?
It's a great question. And I think when most of us turn on the news or we look at our social media feeds, we're just inundated with these messages of horrible things happening in the world. And we think that the limited time or financial resources that we have to offer really can't make a difference. As you mentioned, I left my corporate career and I started in wealth management. I started in the insurance industry, went into capital markets and did a lot of work with wealth and estate transfer planning. And when I looked around my life, I had this aha moment one day and I realized that all I really did with my time and resources was make wealthy people wealthier. Mm-hmm. And for me, I wanted to take all that knowledge that I had about money and how people connect with money, and I wanted to connect it with mission. So I did something drastic, and I'm not saying everyone should do this by any stretch of the imagination, but I left my successful corporate world, took a 66% pay cut to go work for a nonprofit so that I could take that entire wealth of knowledge that I had about investments, insurance, wealth and estate transfer planning, and help connect people who really want to make a difference through a nonprofit, make that connection real, to connect their money with mission.
Wow, that's a great mission to have. Thank you for doing that. And you actually have a book coming out, right? It's called Are You on the Right Bus? Navigating Change on the Road to Success. Amazing. You talk a lot about borrowing others' confidence. Now, where did that come from?
So this whole idea of borrowing someone's confidence, believe it or not, it happened for me in probably the 6th grade. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to do this project in school where we interviewed someone that we admired. And the only person I could come up with was Dr. James Van Allen, who discovered the Van Allen radiation belts in space. Now, I didn't even know what those were, but the thought of that there was someone that lived in my hometown that discovered something in space just seemed so incredible. Well, my teacher told me that Dr. Van Allen was probably way too busy to talk to a 6th grader, and I was so disappointed. And I went home and told my parents, I really wanted to do this, but my teacher says, I should probably find someone more realistic. And my mom looked at me and she said, well, what do you have to lose? He's in the phone book. Just pick up the phone and call him. Mm-hmm. And she seemed so confident about it that I thought, well, you know what? My mom is right. So I picked up the phone and I called Dr. Van Allen and I asked for the interview and I got it. And then something similar happened to me in the 8th grade and again in the 12th grade. I didn't realize it then, but I think sometimes we think about doing something that's really scary, right? When you're in the 6th grade, cold calling, essentially, a world-renowned scientist seems like a really big thing. Mm-hmm. But when my mom made it seem so possible, like she was so confident, she was so confident that I could do it, I knew that that was something that I could tackle. And so it's something that I've really incorporated at every phase of my life.
Wow, beautiful. And talking about cold calling, we as an adult, we are afraid to do that. And it's amazing for you at 6th grade, mm-hmm. right? You're able to do that. And you were able to borrow that confidence from the people that you interview. Mm-hmm. Nice. That's a great advice to give to anybody out there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is it something that is teachable?
It is. I think when so many people have helped coach me and mold me throughout my life, which is really what my book is about. It's a chronicle of my professional career and talks about all the people in my life, the people who have gotten on my bus and gotten off my bus and all the bus transfers that I've made in my life. I even have a chapter dedicated to when you get escorted off the bus, because I have been fired from a job. And I think so many people have, and they're ashamed to talk about it. Mm-hmm. But in reality, these are all just opportunities for us to sit down and say, okay, who am I? What value do I have? What is unique about me that I can bring into the world to help make the world a better place? What are my God-given gifts that, given the opportunity and the willingness to pick up the phone and call, or the willingness to ask for help, how could I take all of those things that I am and truly make a difference and lead a more satisfying life? So I've taken this, and for example, for the last several years, I've been working since May of 2020. In addition to running products consulting, I've been serving as the executive director of a nonprofit in Houston called Raise Up Families. And we work with families from vulnerable communities who are on the edge of eviction to stabilize them in their housing, to stabilize their families and their children so that their children experience a completely uninterrupted education. One of the things people don't think about is that when a family gets evicted from their home, children often have huge gaps in their education, which just sets them behind. And in working with families there, first of all, what I've seen with my staff, I think as employers, we often think about what staff can do for us. We're not thinking about what we can do for them. And I demand a lot of my staff. You can ask any of them. But they also say that if you didn't have that expectation of me, if you didn't believe in me first, I wouldn't be where I am. And then there's a trickle down effect to that, because when the clients come in the door, and you're talking about people who are at the worst point in their lives. They're not able to pay their rent. They're worried about how they're going to provide for their children. They're worried about keeping their utilities on, and they don't know how they got there. They're in crisis. And when their case manager looks at them and says, I believe in you. You can do this. You have the power within you to affect change and to lead the kind of life you want to lead. Then the client starts borrowing the confidence from the employee that they borrowed from me, and everybody wins. So much of borrowing confidence is just surrounding yourself by people who believe in you and who are constantly pushing you to be the very best version of yourself.
Wow, you put it in a very nice way, right? And as a boss, as a leader, we lend that confidence to our team members.
Absolutely,
right? They're not just workers; they're the team that make it all happen.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. That's amazing. Now, what is something anyone can do to affect the positive change?
I love this question. I have this running joke. When people ask me, do you have children? I always say, no, I don't have children of my own, but I did try to have a baby with my best friend's husband once, which is a true story, right? So yeah. I donated my eggs years and years ago to a girlfriend of mine who wasn't able to have children. Unfortunately, we did not end up having a child together. Now, I'm not saying that everyone has to give away a body part to affect change in the world, but the reality is that if I had to say one thing about how we can affect change, look up. Get off your phone. I mean, even driving, I literally think I'm the only person that drives and is not texting at the same time, or looking at scores, or looking at Instagram, or whatever else it is. But it amazes me how even when I'm driving and I look up, I can see another driver through a car. And just smiling at them. People smile back at you. Right. It makes their day. Letting someone that you see at the grocery store know that you really like their dress, or that they look really nice today. A simple compliment can be life-changing. For me, when I was in the 8th grade, I mentioned, this kind of borrowing your confidence. My 8th grade math teacher kept me after school one day, and he asked me, he said, Angie, why are you getting a B in my class? And I said, well, because I'm a B student. And he said, well, who told you that? I said, well, I'm kind of average. My parents are really supportive. I work really hard, but my brother's a smart one. I'm the hard worker, and I'm just kind of a BC student. Mm-hmm. And he looked right at me and he said, you're not a B student. You're an A student performing at a B level. And then he told me to get out of his classroom, and he did not give me a hall pass to the next class. So I did get a detention off of that. However, I also never got a B again.
Wow.
And that conversation maybe took 3 minutes. So when we think about what we can do to affect change, it doesn't take a lot. Take 2 or 3 minutes to share an observation with someone, something that you see in them that maybe they don't see in themselves, and just take time to share it. Smile at a stranger, give a compliment to someone. We are all inundated with all those negative messages. And every day we have the opportunity to infect light and love into this world.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that small conversation changed you from a B student
Changed forever.
to an A student.
Forever.
Wow.
And then you also feel, like there's really nothing you can't accomplish. I think out of that experience too, I realized, I left there thinking, well, holy cow, who am I? Am I an A student? I have no idea. I had no idea who I was. So going back to drawing on other people's confidence, I just went to all my teachers and said, well, what would it take for me to get an A? But then you translate that into the workplace, we're really experiencing this whole quiet quitting phenomenon in America. People get dissatisfied with a job. Maybe they quiet quit in the workplace, or maybe they just up and resign without ever even talking to a boss. That experience taught me, I had one of my first jobs out of college. I loved the company, but I didn't love the job. And instead of just quitting, I went to my boss and said, I love working here. I appreciate everything that you have invested in me. I'm not feeling comfortable in this role. And they ended up helping me interview and secure another job within the company. So I think when you learn to ask for help, when you're there because they saw something in you, you wouldn't be sitting wherever you are, right, in that seat, if somebody didn't see something in you to begin with. And so then leveraging that and saying, okay, this isn't all on me, this is a partnership. That's something that 3-minute conversation in the 8th grade taught me that I've been able to carry forward for the rest of my life.
Wow. That's amazing. And I remember just walking down the hallway and somehow I just automatically smile. That's just in my nature. And I would pass a few people and then they'll say, thank you. Or you have the beautiful smile or something like that. It made me feel good and it made them feel good at the same time. And it's just a smile.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. A little eye contact and a smile, and it can truly change someone's day. It can change their outlook. It can make them pass that smile on to someone else.
Nice. How can people engage with you and learn more about you?
Absolutely. Well, I have social media profiles on my own, Angela Burgess, and then you can also follow Broad Oaks Consulting. I would like to mention that one thing we do on Tuesdays at Broad Oaks Consulting that's really fun, we do a Transformation Tuesday where we feature a nonprofit that's doing amazing things in the world. So we love it when people nominate nonprofits that they love where we can feature them. And we also just love to educate people about all of the really great work that's happening with nonprofits. I think one of the things that people miss in the world, if you think about our world, especially here in the United States of America, and how our world functions, almost everyone's life, probably everyone's life has been touched by a nonprofit. If you were born in a hospital, your life has been touched by a nonprofit, right? And I think we really discount the value that nonprofits add to our society and make our communities the types of places that we want to live, that we want to flourish, that we want to raise our children. And so part of lifting up that community and being able to inject more good into the world is understanding nonprofits and the critical work they do.
Thank you, Angela, for that. That's amazing answer. I have nothing to add to that. It's just it's really concise and very, very good answer. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And to summarize what we talk about, first thing you said is how do you make every day matter, right? Can you kind of put that in just one snippet sentence?
I will put it in my favorite quote, which is from the Lorax. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
Right. Amazing. And we talk about your book, which is coming out. We're excited about it.
Thank you.
The name of the book is Are You on the Right Bus? Navigating Change on the Road to Success. And we talk about it is teachable to have confidence. Confidence is teachable. And you can even borrow the confidence from someone. Another point is what someone can do. It's just simple thing, a 3-minute conversation, a simple smile, a hello, and just look up from your phone and just like, wave at people driving past you and stuff like that. And people can engage and learn about you more on the link below, and you can see on the bottom of the screen there. Thank you so much, Angela, for being here, and thank you our listener for being here. And I hope this have been helpful for everyone who's listening, and also to help put more of a positive word out there. There's more than just what we do every day as a human being, right? We do to make this world a better place, and there are ways of doing that. Follow Angela and her new book, Are You on the Right Bus? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sass.
Thank you, Angela.